All right, so the Panthers last night with just a crushing loss. You know how I feel about that. This team, it feels like one step forward, two steps back. And we'll go out here to the ZASLOW Show 2.0 guest line, brought to us by our new pals, Johnny Cuba. We're talking European roots with a Caribbean soul. Go get yourself a six-pack of Johnny Cuba. You're going to feel like you're right back in the Caribbean. You pick it up at Sedano's, Presidente, or Winn-Dixie. You got specials out right now because of the holidays. Make sure you pick up a six-pack of Johnny Cuba and stay tranquilo. Joining us now, all-time great Florida Panther, Ed Jovanovski here with us. Ed, appreciate you hanging out with us, man. First of all, how do you like, I don't know if you could see in the background here, I got a new addition. I got my old school Pavel Bure Panther jersey right
Oh,
there.
there you go.
I mean, I
There you
know
go.
I know you were traded for him. You know, that was a rough day for 17, 18-year-old Jonathan Zaslow, because I've told this story before, Ed, where I spent a lot of money. You know, back then, 17, 18 years old. Hockey sweaters are expensive, man. Authentic hockey jerseys are very expensive. I had an Ed Jovanovski hockey sweater made for me. I saved up money. I'm 17, 18 years old. I swear to God, Ed, the very first day I wore it, you were traded to Vancouver for Pavel Bure. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. I couldn't believe it. I spent so much money on this jersey. I couldn't believe it. And now he's gone.
Yeah, that's same like me. I was 22 at the time when I got traded, sitting around the dinner table, and I think I told this story. My daughter was 6 months old at the time. And yeah, talk about just kind of picking up and moving, but that's it is what it is. It happened. It's part of the business. But I apologize that you had to spend that money and then get traded, but you got a good beret one there.
Yes, yeah, it's all right. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the team right now, man. I love the Panthers so much, and I'm so frustrated. I guess disappointed too. I feel like it's one step forward, two steps back right now. Last night, I mean, 4.5 seconds remaining. We catch an unlucky break where the whistle right before it looked like we were about to clear the puck once again. The game was probably going to be over at that point. It goes over the glass. So instead, you get the face-off still in the zone, and you wind up getting right off the face-off, game-tying goal. Panthers lose it immediately in overtime. I feel like it's one step forward, two steps back, Ed, where the win last week against Boston, I'm like, okay, we just kicked the shit out of the best team in hockey right now. And then the next two games, blow a 4-1 lead at home, and then blow a late lead last night. It feels like we just can't get this train going on the tracks, man.
Yeah, you're right. And probably from us calling the games and being around the team, all the time, that Boston win was huge. And then for whatever reason, it seems like a different style of game creeps into their game, and they just look disconnected at times. And I think when you get disconnected as a group, guys are searching to do things maybe uncharacteristically of their game, and everything just kind of falls apart. But yesterday was a great road game. They had the lead, they gave it away, they fought back and took over the lead in the third, and then just a couple breakdowns there on the tying goal. You're right; it goes off a shin pad, it goes over the glass. I thought on that play on the tying goal, there could have been a little bit of better coverage. I thought Reinhardt, if he just held his position there at his point position, it would probably been a nothing play, or McDavid wouldn't have tried to pass that over, to Bouchard. But, things happen so quick, as you know that in hockey, sometimes reaction, you're just not quick enough or whatever the reason. But certainly right now, this group's got to dig in and find a way to get consistent.
Help me understand something as a defenseman yourself. From what I understand, Paul Maurice, it's a new system, especially a new defensive system. Can you explain to me what it is they're doing differently on that side of the ice this year than last year?
Well, I mean, every team, when you look at teams, everybody, you're talking the defensive zone. Zaz.
Yeah.
every team wants to play in layers. When the puck's in the corner, you have your guy defending. Usually the next guy's behind you, and the other guy's close in proximity where if he does get beat, he can shift over. That's all the simple. That's how everybody plays the game. But for whatever reason this year, the Panthers are finding ways to turn pucks over. And they're not clearing pucks in that gray area at the blue line. It seems to be an area where the puck is coming back into their zone. And you put the goalies in difficult positions, but making tough saves. And it's just one of those Murphy's Law right now, I think, for the Panthers. I think anytime they make a mistake in the defensive zone, it ends up in your net. And that just comes from like being more aware, just being stronger on the puck, the will to win those battles, to get the puck out in the tough areas. And I think right now it's just not good enough on that end. And you hear the players, they're all saying the same thing too. It's just a couple breaks during the game that are costing them. For example, yesterday the McDavid power play goal, unacceptable. The change that happened, they spring McDavid on a breakaway. It's just a bad line change at the time.
Am I like, are my eyes telling me the truth where it seems to me we let a lot of guys get behind our defense this year, and I don't remember that being the case last year. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it's the new NHL too. I think guys are blowing the zone, keeps the defending D-man honest, where one guy you got to go back. But yeah, the forwards are creative, and to create offense, you're sneaking behind the fence. You got to be aware, of your surroundings and where guys are. But it seems like you're right, though. It seems like we give up, breakaways, 2-on-1s, odd man rushes. It's one of those areas that I'm sure the coach and players like to clean up.
So what goes on in that dressing room right now, Ed, where most of the guys were on the team last year, President's Cup winner. I mean, they were amazing the start of the season. They've had a really tough start to this season. What's going on in that dressing room right now? Like how do they make sure they tell each other, hey, this is a really long season? Like what's happening right now?
Well, just try to be positive. I know it's hard. I think, especially in games, how you've lost them of late. You just don't want that creeping into your play. The guys are capable of doing really good things. They're a well coached team. They got great leadership on the team. You just got to go out there and execute. And it's not going to get easier going into Calgary, tonight. The parity around the NHL is very, very tough. You have to be ready to play each and every night. And I think that's the message, I think, right there. Whatever happened. And we got to worry about the next game. And if we play, the way we're capable of playing for 60 minutes, then it gives us our best chance to win. There's going to be times during a game mistakes happen. And I think everybody can live with mistakes. It just don't let it be the repetitive ones that end up killing each and every night.
So Matthew Tkachuk goes back to Calgary tonight. That's going to be pretty cool. He had the goal against Calgary. What was it, a week and a half ago? It ended up being the game-tying goal, and we lost that game in overtime. He's been everything we hoped he would be, right?
Right. No, as advertised, as I think you see what he's done as far as the points. I mean, I think he's 28 or 29 points right now. He's having an excellent start to the year. But he can see his grit, around the net. You can see the theatrics, putting the old, they're booing him yesterday in Edmonton. I'm sure it's going to be interesting tonight. Be a fun atmosphere for him. He spent his first 5-6 years, wherever it is, in Calgary. So it's always nice going back. But yeah, he got to know him a little bit, hung out with him, a couple times. Just loves hockey. Just like, 24-year-old making a boatload of money, living in South Florida. But loves his teammates, loves the team, and couldn't be happier being here.
That's got to be awesome, right? For someone like himself, and I suppose he grew up in Arizona, but obviously played his first few years in Calgary. Granted, he's spent time in Arizona, but a young player who plays a northern sport, and now you get to live in South Florida. I mean, he must love it. Like you were drafted 18 years old, and you get to spend the first few years of your career here in South Florida. That's probably awesome for a young kid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, living on the water, and you're playing for the organization is one of these organizations that people are talking about that they want to play for. And this team is going to be good for years. They got a good young group. And I think him thrown in this situation, listen, you're different. You're in Calgary. You're in a hockey mecca there. It's eat, sleep, and breathe hockey here. You can get away, a little bit. And I think he's enjoying that, as a player. But he understands that you can easily get distracted here as well. So I think the focus needs, remain on his job. His number one priority is performing out there. But certainly when things are going well, as we know in this market, there's not a better place. I mean, it's wintertime. It's beautiful out. Keep the body feeling good. That sunshine making it feel good. It's always nice seeing that. But yeah, these guys know what they need to do, though.
Give me some thoughts here. I know you're a big basketball fan. You've been keeping up with the Heat lately. I mean, talk about slow starts to the season. The same thing with the Heat right now, Ed.
You know what, Zaz? I haven't this year. One thing I do love is I love betting the first quarter.
What's the strategy there? Like, do you go with the home team?
I don't know. They seem that I don't know this year. The previous years, they're money in the first quarter. They always cover no matter what. For the most part, 7 out of 10 times they cover that. They cover that line in the first quarter. But yeah, I don't know how they've started. I know they're not the same.
They're a game under. They're a game under right now.
Game under.
Yeah.
But I think in basketball you can be 8 games under and make the playoffs.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Right.
Are you into today, and we've been talking about it on the show today, we got the US men's hockey team today, the US men's soccer team this afternoon against Iran. You paying attention to the World Cup at all? You into it at all?
Yeah, man. I woke up this morning, although I just got home at 1 a.m. after the game last night, but I still woke up. I'm not sure. The games usually start at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
This morning they didn't start.
Oh, is that right? I haven't even checked recently.
Yeah,
is that true? Is there not a 5 a.m. today?
Unless it's on a completely different channel, it's on Fox or
you know what? You're right. You're right. It's 2 10 a.m. games and 2 p.m. games. You know what it probably is? Since now it's the third and final game, they want the teams who are in the same group playing at the same time so they can't scoreboard watch.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be bellied up somewhere at 2:00, probably watching that game. I'm rooting for them. I really think that they have the chance to win this game this afternoon.
I hope so.
If it doesn't get crazy.
I hope so, man. And big controversy. I mean, not controversy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's always the stupid political stuff that's coming into into play, and that's why I said I hope it doesn't get crazy. But I think the players handle it, great. Listen to their press conference. They got to be excited to have the opportunity to win and so it's going to be a fun one.
Did you play for Team Canada in the Olympics or in juniors?
I did. I played in the 2002 Olympics in Salt Lake.
What does that feel like, man? Like, do you feel the weight of the country?
Yeah, it was like 50 years to the date when we won that, when we beat the U.S. for the gold medal game. Yeah, it was just the whole experience. From the Olympic Village to just hanging out with all the different athletes. It was a neat experience, and me being in my early 20s, it was pretty cool being in that environment. But certainly something that I can look back on and cherish that moment.
You back on television tonight? Are we doing a little late night with the Cats again tonight in Calgary?
No, I'm actually off for the next couple of days. My brother's coming in town. I have my member guest tournament.
Okay.
So after these few games, I'll be back at it.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Great job, Ed. I appreciate you jumping on board with us. We got to get this thing going. They just got to string together. Like, give me a 4 or 5 game win streak and let's get this thing going,
Yeah, as easily you can kind of slide out of things. And I think from the start of the year to now, let's be honest, we didn't think the Florida Panthers were going to be in this position, fight for a wild card spot or not even in the top 3 in their division. But there is a lot of hockey, and this team, you're right, it's going to take that. It's going to take, going on a run, winning 3 out of 5 games, consistently for the rest of the year. And they can do so. I think you get. I think the team is really happy with Spencer Knight. I think he's been excellent
Yeah.
in net, giving the team the chance to win each and every night. And then get Barkov back. Hopefully, he's going to get healthy here, and get on a roll. Usually, these trips out west are a good bonding time for the guys. So hopefully, they can find a way to get at least find a way to at least go 500 on this trip.
Do they say to themselves, hey, let's win it for our brother Kachuk tonight, going back to Calgary? We know he needs a big performance. You get a little extra motivation there from the guys?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And, it'll be exciting for him, but exciting for the guys to be in that atmosphere as well. I'm sure they'll want to. Usually what happens in hockey is the former player, puts a little cash on the board, so I imagine him signing an $80 million deal that cash might be pretty significant.
Okay.
So, and it goes into that team fund for that the end of the year for dinner, or it goes to the trainers. In hockey, the guys are super, take care of the trainers because their jobs are just, in the middle of the night, they're unloading bags. So these guys really take care of the trainers. So, it's one big family, man. These guys want, his player, their new teammate now to come into their old environment where he spent a lot of years, and kick him right in the ass.
Yeah, man.
Get a win.
Yeah, great job, Ed. Keep up the great work on television. I always appreciate you hopping on board with us. Thank you so much, man.
All right, Zaz. Thank you.